Miss Rumphius as today's book. I've had this book since I was little. This one's from Picture Puffins, winner of the American Book Award. Story of Pictures by Barbara Cooney. So pretty flowers. Pretty cat. Alright. Illustrated by Barbara Cooney here. Picture, story and pictures. This is the Lupine flowers. But Miss Rumphius. Story and pictures by Barbara Cooney. Puffin books. Published by the Penguin Group. To St. Nicholas, patron saint of children, sailors, and maidens. The Lupine lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea, and between the rocks around her house grow blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. The Lupine lady is little and old, but she has not always been that way. I know. She is my great aunt, and she told me so. Once upon a time, she was a little girl named Alice who lived by the sea. From the front stoop, she could see the wharves and the bristling masts of tall ships. Many years ago, her grandfather had come to America on a large sailing ship. So the step in front of there is called a stoop. There's the wharf. Now he worked in the shop at the bottom of the house, making figureheads for the prows of ships. That's the front of the ship. And carving Indians out of wood to put in front of cigar stores. For Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures, too, of sailing ships and places across the sea. When he was very busy, Alice helped him put in the skies. Look, she's putting little clouds in. So we've got the ship prows, and we've got the statues of Indians for cigar stores. And look, there he is. In the evening, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to his stories of faraway places. When he had finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places, and when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "That is all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather, "but there is a third thing you must do." "What is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she did not know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework. And pretty soon, she was grown up. Look at the kitty cat. Calico kitty. We got seashells and sea escapes. Very pretty. Calico kitty cats are almost all gross. And we can see this was quite a long time ago from the outfits. Then my great Aunt Alice set out to do the 3 things she had told her grandfather she was going to do. She left home and went to live in another city far from the city and the salt air. There she worked in a library, dusting the books and keeping them from getting mixed up, and helping people find the ones they wanted. See, she's helping a little boy right there. Some of the books told her about faraway places. People called her Miss Rumphius now. Oh, there she is in her little Victorian outfits. They see this little bump over here. It's called a bustle. I like the little birds. There's the world. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park. That's like that big greenhouse. When she stepped inside on a wintry day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her, and the sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "This is almost like a tropical isle," said Miss Rumphius, "but not quite." Oh, see, that's called a muff that she's got. And look, there's even fruit in the conservatory. So Miss Rumphius went to a real tropical island where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. Monkey, monkey. She walked on long beaches, picking up beautiful shells. One day she met the Paparaja, king of a fishing village. "You must be tired," he said. "Come into my house and rest." So Miss Rumphius went in and met the Paparaja's wife. The Paparaja himself fetched a green coconut and cut off a slice off the top so that Miss Rumphius could drink the coconut water inside. So coconuts have liquid in them. It's called coconut water, or sometimes they call it coconut milk. Before she left, the Paparaja gave her a beautiful mother-of-pearl shell on which he had painted a bird of paradise and the words, "You will always remain in my heart." "You will always remain in mine too," said Miss Rumphius. How lovely. My great aunt, Miss Alice Rumphius, climbed tall mountains where the snow never melted. She went through jungles and across deserts. She saw lions playing and kangaroos jumping. And everywhere she made friends she would never forget. Finally, she came to the land of the lotus eaters. And there, getting off the camel, she hurt her back. Ooh, ouchies. "What a foolish thing to do," said Miss Rumphius. "Well, I have certainly seen faraway places, and maybe it is time to find my place by the sea." And it was, and she did. Alright, well, I guess that's enough adventuring for her. Mountains and deserts and camels. Ooh, watermelons, yum. From the porch of her new house, Miss Rumphius watched the sun come up. She watched it cross the heavens and sparkle on the water, and she saw it set in glory in the evening. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house, and she planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rumphius was almost perfectly happy. You see, this is called italics, and that means that you emphasize it. Almost. So what's she missing? Oh, here's another kitty cat. Meow, 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 meow. "But there is still one thing I have to do," she said. "I have to do something to make the world more beautiful." Yeah, that was the thing her grandfather said. "But what?" "The world is already pretty nice," she thought, looking out over the ocean. Certainly where she lives, it's lovely. Look at that view. Oh, she has a lovely little house. Just think on it. The next spring, Miss Rumphius was not very well. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had planted the summer before had come up and bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose-colored. "Lupines," said Miss Rumphius with satisfaction. "I have always loved lupines the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer so that I could have still more flowers next year." But she was not able to. Oh, see, she's got a cane. Even though she's got the beautiful view, she said her back's hurting her. It's a shame. After a hard winter, spring came. Miss Rumphius was feeling much better. Now she could take walks again. One afternoon, she started to go up and over the hill where she had not been in a long time. "I don't believe my eyes," she cried when she got to the top. For there, on the other side of the hill, was a large patch of blue and purple and rose-colored lupines. "It was the wind," she said as she knelt in delight. "It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds must have helped." Then Miss Rumphius had a wonderful idea. She'd hurried home and got out her seed catalogs. She sent off to the very best seed house for 5 bushels of lupine seed. That's quite a bit. Bushels are big. All that summer, Miss Rumphius, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over fields and headlands sowing lupines. She scattered seeds among the highways and down the country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around the schoolhouse and the back of the church. She tossed them into hollows and along stone walls. Her back didn't hurt her any more at all. Now some people called her that crazy old lady. Now this is a nice idea and it's quite lovely in the end, but it's not always good to introduce plants that aren't native to an area because they can compete and hurt other plants. So find a different way perhaps to make your world more beautiful. But let's keep listening to her story. The next spring there were lupines everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay around the schoolhouse and the back of the church. Down the hollows and along the stone walls grew the beautiful flowers. Miss Rumphius had done the third, most difficult thing of all. And what was that again? Making the world more beautiful. My great Aunt Alice, Miss Rumphius, is very old now. Her hair is very white. Every year there are more and more lupines. Now they call her the Lupine Lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see the old lady who planted the fields of lupines. When she invites us in, they come slowly. They think she is the oldest woman in the world. Often, she tells us stories of faraway places. When I grow up, I told her, I too will go faraway places and come home to live by the sea. That is all very well, little Alice, says my aunt. But there is a third thing you must do. What is that? I ask. You must do something to make the world more beautiful. All right, I say. Can see? And you can see the children's clothing was much more modern now. Much closer to our time. And look, there's more kitties. I like this kitty's a little irritated. And look, there's a bird. And she has the same paintings from her grandfather. Do you have something from your grandparents? It's always nice to have something, especially something like art or something they even made. But I do not know yet what that could be. Look at the children playing with the flowers. Yay! With thanks to Hilda. So, apparently this is about the book. The illustrations for Miss Rumphius were painted in acrylics with accents of Prismacolor pencils on gesso-painted pergola fabric-mounted illustration board. The art was camera separated and printed in 4 colors. The text type is Goatee old style, and the display type is Goatee cursive. That's nice. A little picture puffin. Yeah, this is super classic. We grew up with it, and it's a nice idea, making your world more beautiful. Well, thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this and want me to keep making content, give a like and subscribe. Otherwise, thank you so much for a wonderful time together, and you have a great day.